Irish Guy, and the transfer window is strange right now. Today I'm going to take a look at every Premier League club and find each team's one former player who is about to get a really weird, strange transfer. Some of these are weirder than Doja Cat's success. I don't get it. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang to Al-Qadja. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is a man who has been linked with a mega money move to cash-rich mercenary divisions for years. I remember back when Arsenal fans were terrified that they were about to lose their best player to the Chinese Super League in 2019. But no, I think we all got Pierre wrong. I mean, because he dresses like a skinny Floyd Mayweather, because he looks like he sits in his kitchen licking money, because he looks like he kick a child in the face to get another Lamborghini, everyone assumes that he would jump at the chance to go somewhere hollow like the Saudi Pro League. But no, we were all wrong. He could have easily walked to a Moneybags Desert League at any point over the last 3 years. But no, he since left Arsenal to join Barcelona, Chelsea, Marseille. That's 3 clubs who've won the Champions League. They are actual European champions with pedigree. He didn't need to be embarrassed about joining any of those teams. This wasn't exactly like seeing Britney Spears out to dinner with some middle-aged, overweight geek with chicken wing stains all down the front of his Wonder Woman t-shirt. No, this is a man who resisted temptation to stay in Europe. Maybe we were all wrong about him. Maybe this is a man who, beneath the Gucci labels and £200 haircuts, he is a proud warrior who will only represent dignified football clubs. I mean, lads, of his 10 senior clubs in his career so far, 8 of those have competed in the final of the European Cup, even Saint Etienne. This is a man who just wants dignified clubs, right? No, because now at the age of 35, he's agreed to join a newly promoted Saudi club. A stadium has probably got more bunny rabbits in the crowd than actual season ticket holders. He's not even getting into stupid Saudi money. Jordan Henderson was given a £750,000 a week deal. And Aubameyang has more talent in his left earlobe than that chunk of Macamuesli. For Aubameyang, he's selling his soul for just £160,000 a week. It's only a slight pay rise on what he was getting in France. Aston Villa, Jadon Philogene to Aston Villa. Yeah, this one is weird. Aston Villa fans will remember Jadon Philogene as being that talented winger in their academy who was given his Premier League debut in 2021, turfed out to Stoke and Cardiff on loan, and then sold a year ago to Hull. So re-signing him 3 years later in a £5 million deal isn't actually that strange. But I suppose they've already brought back both Ross Barkley and Cameron Archer back to the club this month. The whole thing's their reunion party. But what I find weird is that Philogene snubbed Barcelona to do this. Look, maybe Barcelona didn't offer a concrete deal, but apparently he was their plan B if they were unable to sign Nico Williams from Bilbao, that Euro 2024 winner, by the way. I mean, if they signed the Welsh progress by mistake, I think the Barcelona president would probably be too embarrassed to even buy toilet paper from his local shop, instead just choosing to wipe his bum with socks for a month. I don't know, but if there's any chance of potentially getting a move to the new camp this summer, then refusing to wait until August to see if a deal could happen, it's crazy. You could have left Hull for Barcelona. This reminds me of when Tom Ince, while at Blackpool, rejected the move to Inter Milan to ironically join Hull. Just like Philogene, all he wanted was the Premier League. I get that a foreign nation is scary, but he literally went to school in Italy as a child. He's since gone on to have an incredibly dull journeyman career. So again, Philogene, rejecting one of the biggest football clubs in the world to rejoin a team who once treated you like an expired salmon in the fridge. Oh, yikes. Bournemouth, Rodrigo Riquelme to Roma. Okay, this transfer isn't nailed on to go through yet, but apparently former Bournemouth winger Rodrigo Riquelme, someone who I always took note of considering he had such a superstar name. I mean, come on. Doesn't Rodrigo Riquelme just sound like a star? In the same way, if you were to get a Facebook friend request from someone called Jimmy Beyonce, oh, you're gonna take a look before you block. Anyway, apparently, after a breakout 47-game season for Atletico Madrid, this 24-year-old talent could be about to seal a major move to Roma. He really is just fitting his CV with monster European names. Yeah, don't forget, what are the cherries? He started just 3 championship games all season long. After Christmas, Jonathan Woodgate left this talented kid to rot on the bench for practically 15 games in a row, not even asking him to come on. Maybe this is just a case of a former Real Madrid centre half refusing to develop an Atletico player, maybe? I mean, was Woodgate that petty a man? Who knows, but the Rodrigo Riquelme glow up is wild. And his success must make Bournemouth fans feel lower than a slug's stomach. Brentford, Christian Eriksen to Ajax. Okay, this one is just a rumour so far, but all the talk nowadays is that former Brentford midfielder Christian Eriksen is about to quit Manchester United and seal a huge, emotional Ajax return. If Man United agreed to pay off his ludicrously expensive £150,000 £50,000 a week wages? A return to Holland wouldn't be weird. It would be poetic. But what gets me is that Manchester United have somehow talked themselves into this mess. How? How is he on such a monster wage? Brighton, Matt Ryan to Roma. Matt Ryan needs to jump on a podcast and tell his story. This Australia international goalkeeper CV is wacky beyond belief. This is just some average 32-year-old goalkeeper. There is nothing special about him. He's got 93 Australia caps. I mean, this man is not a patch on what Mark Schwarzer was. And he went on to have a very vanilla, boring career. It only livened up after his 40th birthday. But Ryan, he's someone who's got a third of Schwarzer's talent. And well, Club Brugge, Valencia, Genk, Brighton, Arsenal, Real Sociedad, Copenhagen, AZ Alkmaar, and now Roma. What? But alright, so this is somebody who could have spent 15 years of his life on the books of Hull and nobody would have batted an eyelid. So to stamp his passport with such huge European giants on a regular basis, the fact he's now getting his hands on Roma after a weedy little crumpet like Graham Potter bullied him out of Brighton? Oh, this bloke really has had the last laugh. Chelsea, Alvaro Morata to AC Milan. Look, Alvaro Morata is a quality centre forward. Despite being written off as an embarrassing joke in a Chelsea shirt, yes, this man is always on the move it seems, but he just seems like he's always getting a European giant. And now he's off to AC Milan, which I find weird because he had 2 spells at Juventus. I don't know, but to me, this is like when we saw Andrea Pirlo trade AC Milan for Juventus on a free. This guy was practically the face of Milan, so to see him in the Juventus shirt, I don't know. To me, this one, it seems weird as well. Crystal Palace, Albert Sambi Laconga to Sevilla. Yeah, here we've got Arsenal midfield misfit Albert Sambi Laconga, who has just had really poor average loan spells away from the Emirates. He didn't do much at Crystal Palace or at Luton Town. In fact, he just got relegated. And yet now he gets a loan switch to Sevilla. Knight his agent, this is incredible work. From Luton to Sevilla. Well done. Everton, Donny Van De Beek to Girona. Donny Van De Beek. Oh boy. I don't blame you for forgetting that he was ever an Everton player. He made about as much noise as a deaf squirrel. 7 games. He was a rotten, useless vomit omelette in Frank Lampard's relegation battle. Anyway, he's finally quit Manchester United. He had a whole year left in his Old Trafford deal, yet they sold him to Girona for just £420,000. Okay, this is all sorts of confusing because on paper, despite having an absolute nightmare 4 years of his career, where he's even failed out on loan, he is still joining a team who just finished 3rd in La Liga. This is still a Champions League move. He is absolutely landed on his feet, but the embarrassing part is the miniature transfer fee. A fee that wouldn't even cover Victor Lindelof's wages for a month. They might as well have given away for 3 Kit Kats and a half-eaten ice cream. And let's be real, he's being signed by Girona, but it's Man City's money. Man City are taking Van de Beek off their hands. It's like when they signed Owen Hargreaves on a free. Oh, this guy's life story has become so bleak. I'm having to check, is this Donny Van de Beek? Or Donny Dunn? Fulham, Matt O'Reilly to Juventus. What is happening? Ryan Al, former Fulham Academy prospect midfielder. Matt O'Reilly, someone who spent 11 years at Craven Cottage, and yet was only given 1 league game. Just an hour in a defeat against Reading in the Championship on New Year's Day 2020. That was it. Fast forward to 2024, and he's just had a 19-goal season from midfield for Celtic. He's now a full Denmark international, and is at the centre of a tug-of-war between Atalanta and Juventus. Both Italian giants have tried to sign him. If this guy actually winds up in Turin and taking Paul Pogba's shirt, Fulham fans will all probably start weeping into their teddy bears. Ipswich Town, Troy Parrott to AZ Alkmaar. This transfer, I don't know if I'm excited by this or not. I've been tipping Troy Parrott to be a Tottenham megastar ever since he nearly scored past Buffon in a pre-season friendly for Spurs 5 years ago. He's since had a bunch of fruitless loan spells, including Ipswich Town, and now Tottenham have finally given up on the kid striker they bought from Belvedere when he was 15. I mean, they've just got £6 million for him, selling him to AZ Alkmaar. Look, he's just had a 17-goal season in the Eredivisie with Excelsior, so it makes sense that the Dutch giant wants to buy him now. But I already know, he's not going to play, is he? Come on, Troy, please become an AZ Alkmaar goal machine. If Josie Altidore could do it, if Wout Weghorst could do it, 10 goals for Troy. Leicester City, Kasper Schmeichel to Celtic. Kasper Schmeichel is Joe Hart. I'm sorry, but these two are clones. I've always said that these two could have feasibly swapped careers and nobody would have noticed. Both blonde rookies at the Etihad together. Michael drew the short straw and was forced to salvage a career in the lower leagues, whilst Hart was given a fat silver spoon in his mouth. You think it would be the opposite considering that Kasper's dad was a legend? I mean, if Romeo Beckham could get a Premier League move, well lads, both roles could have easily been reversed. Schmeichel could have easily been a Premier League winning goalkeeper at Man City, while Hart could have clawed his way from Notts County into that miraculous Leicester side. And now, to prove that both these two are the same person, Schmeichel is quitting Anderlecht to literally replace Hart at Celtic. You don't get a more like-for-like swap replacement than this. Right, well, I hope these guys don't agree to go out for a meal together, or their wives won't be able to tell which one is which. Liverpool Pepe Reina to Como. Bizarre. Absolutely strange. Lads, I'm talking about an ex-Liverpool player making a weird transfer, right? But I am having to dig back into the archives for a player who the Reds signed all the way back in 2005. This Spanish goalkeeper turns 42 years old next month, and still he has just been given another transfer, joining Serie A side Como. The Italian Wrexham. He's now their very own version of Ben Foster, signing him based on vibes. Lads, this guy was already approaching retirement during his relegation battling loan spell at Aston Villa 4 years ago, right? Now, he's since joined Lazio, Villarreal, and now Como. It's bonkers. How is he not retired? Sitting at home in bed, munching on ice cream sandwiches, whilst kissing his World Cup medal. This man's professional footballing journey began back in 1988. How is his back not in pieces? Come on, I thought this man was already in retirement mode 3 years ago when he appeared on The Masked Singer as a dancing penguin. Surely that was him about to quit the sport? But no, and you know what's ironic? Arsenal fans will always hate Reina, because back in 2010, during Spain's World Cup celebrations, he was the guy who shoved a Barcelona shirt onto Cesc Fabregas, shamelessly trying to force through a move. Yeah, it's 14 years later, and now Fabregas is the one who's kidnapping Reina. Also, Reina's not the only ex-Liverpool player joining Como this summer. Ever-pro left-back Albert Moreno was joined too. Wow, they are such a Wrexham. Man City, Ederson to Al Nassr. Okay, I know Ederson is not a former Man City player, but I still need to talk about this because it is weird. This man is one of the most complete goalkeepers in world football, and yet despite soaking up trophies every single season at City, he has agreed to leave. He's accepted terms and agreed to move to Al Nassr in the Saudi desert. They've chucked in a €30 million bid. Man City have said no because they want more than 50 mil, which is still barely anything for such a great goalkeeper. This is going to go through, of course it is. All the Al Nassr prince has to do is cough up £42 million, and they can buy one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Why would he end his glorious Manchester City legacy at the age of 30 just to chase the bag with Ronaldo and Mane? This is what happens, City, when you pay somebody less money than Aaron Ramsdale. Man United, Raphael Varane to Como. What is happening at Como? How are this club this persuasive? They are an absolute minnow from the Italian mountains who just scrambled their way up from Serie B, and yet they are now convincing multiple world champions to join. I don't get it. Is Cesc Fabregas the most charming man in the world? Because this can't be due to them meeting with Dennis Wise, someone who looks like he would punch a cheese panini sandwich to death if the bread was slightly burnt. How is Fabregas managed to convince huge names like Raphael Varane, someone who's on an insane £340,000 a week deal at Manchester United? How is he getting him to join this strange, scruffy, obscure project? This is a man who surely could have earned even more money in the Saudi desert, but no, at just 31 years of age. This four-time Champions League winner is joining Como, a club who were liquidated less than 20 years ago. They were the Italian Portsmouth. The club were put out of business and put on auction as recently as 2017. The assets of the club were bought by Michael Essien's wife, and now they somehow have Varane. What? Newcastle, Alisson Maximin to Fenerbahce. Alisson Maximin and Jose Mourinho together under one roof. Oh boy. November 2020.
I've always said it. Jose Mourinho has never been anywhere near finished. No, not in 2015 or at Old Trafford. He's still got another Premier League title in him.
August 2022.
Alisson Maximin is world class.
Now they're both together at the same Turkish club. Are the football overlords just laughing at me? In 2021, I was literally screaming at Newcastle United to unite these two at St. James's Park. I wanted Josie to be unveiled on Tyneside, and people would squeal at me.
Oh, well, he won't be able to use ASM. He doesn't track back. So you'll have to sacrifice him.
It's 3 years later, and these two are literally together, but not in Newcastle. Oh no, that would be too much to ask. It's Fenerbahce. Mourinho has literally just signed the guy who everybody said he would not be able to use. I mean, lads, Mourinho used to get frustrated with the likes of Eden Hazard at Chelsea. So Maximin is also an elite dribbler, an attacking magician who doesn't track back. So this transfer is weird. But I love both of these guys, and they are both far, far better than the Turkish league. Nottingham Forest, Nuno Tavares to Lazio. Nothing too strange, I guess. But Arsenal left back Nuno Tavares, who did spend a pointless loan spell at Nottingham Forest last season, he's just joined Lazio. How does he keep getting such solid moves? He's not good. Southampton, Carlos Alcaraz to Wimbledon. I'm really confused. I've only just skimmed the internet, but apparently Southampton's 21-year-old midfield star, Carlos Alcaraz, he weirdly joined Juventus last year. Yeah, that was strange enough, but now he's off to Wimbledon. AFC Wimbledon. That is so confusing. From Max Allegri last season to Johnny Jackson now? That is quite the coaching downgrade. Okay, I'm sorry. That is a terrible, terrible joke. I know. I'm not that dim. Tottenham Moussa Sissoko to Watford. This makes no sense to me. Moussa Sissoko is a 34-year-old midfield beefcake with 71 caps for France. He left Watford 2 years ago, pitifully dumping them after just one nightmare year. Don't forget, he was given the captain's armband and played nearly every match, as Watford were atrociously relegated from the Premier League without a whimper. They went through 3 managers in 1 season, and he then just jumps ship and joined Nantes. And now he's back. Does nobody realize how terrible his first spell was? Why are you re-signing a flop? West Ham, Felipe Anderson to Palmeiras. Felipe Anderson is a majestically talented attacking midfielder. Despite just his 2 Brazil caps, forget about his disappointing 2 years at West Ham. This is someone who has played 326 games for a monster European club like Lazio. He was given a chance to make the step up and join Juventus on a free this summer, and he says no. He's only 31, and it shows that go back to Brazil with Palmeiras. I'm very confused. Wolves Rui Patricio to somewhere weird. Okay, this one hasn't happened yet, but you just know it will. Ex-Wolves goalkeeper Rui Patricio. This 38-year-old with 108 Portugal caps has left Roma on a free, and I know he hasn't got anything lined up yet, but you just know. He's being replaced by Matt Wright. You know this one is going to be weird. It's going to be something wacky and bizarre, like FC Cincinnati in the MLS, or Panathinaikos, or even Waterford United. It's going to be something strange. Anyway, that's the let me know in the comments what do you think is the weirdest one of your ex-players. Let me know in the comments. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.